This is your brother's house. My mom came with papers to steal the condo I paid for alone. I was 29 when I woke up to the sound of my own family trying to break into my home. The smart lock on my door made this specific beeping noise. 3 sharp bursts, access denied. I'd programmed it myself 2 years ago, proud of the little upgrade I'd made to the place. But that morning, it wasn't a delivery guy or a neighbor with the wrong unit number. It was my brother Bryce, and he was furious. "She changed the code," he said, loud enough that I could hear him through the door. His voice had this edge of disbelief, like I'd done something unthinkable. Then came the pounding. Not knocking, pounding. The kind that makes your door frame shudder and your heart rate spike, even when you're still half asleep. I sat up in bed, tangled in my sheets, trying to make sense of what was happening. It was 8:15 on a Saturday morning in Austin. The sun was slanting through my blinds in dusty stripes, and someone was trying to force their way into my apartment. "Emery, open this door!" That was my mother's voice now, Patricia, shrill and commanding. "This is your brother's house. Open up, Emery, or I'm breaking it down." I grabbed my phone from the nightstand. My hands were shaking, but I knew what I had to do. I hit record on the video camera and walked to the door. When I unlocked it, keeping the chain latched, I held the phone up where they could all see it. Bryce stumbled back mid-lunge. Behind him stood my mother, dressed like she was heading to brunch, clutching a thick manila folder. My father hovered by the elevator, looking at the floor. "What are you doing?" I barely got the words out. My mother scoffed. "Stop this nonsense. We're here to get the house ready. Bryce needs you to sign these papers." That's when it all clicked. The night before, my father's birthday dinner at Carmela's Steakhouse, my mother had raised her wine glass under the chandelier light and said, "To Bryce, who's finally getting the asset he deserves to start his business." I'd looked up from my plate, confused. "What asset?" She'd laughed that cold little laugh of hers. "The condo, silly. You're just crashing here. It's always been for Bryce." Everyone at the table had laughed. My uncle, my cousin, even my dad. And I'd sat there, fork suspended midair, my face going numb. Now they were at my door, expecting me to just hand over the place I'd been paying for, alone, for 8 years. "No," I said. The word came out small, but I meant it. Bryce's face twisted. "What do you mean, no?" Something inside me went still. I straightened my back. "I mean no. You can't come in. And this is not Bryce's house." I went to my desk, pulled out the stack of papers I'd grabbed the night before after the dinner. Mortgage statements, the deed, 8 years of payments, all with one name on them, mine. I held them up to the crack in the door. "This," I said, my voice shaking but clear, "is my house." I shut the door, locked it, and slid down to the floor as the screaming started on the other side. I didn't expect to cry, but I did. Hard. The kind of sobbing that makes your whole body jerk forward because you can't get enough air. It wasn't just about the condo. It was about the 8 years I'd spent believing I wasn't ready yet. Not ready for New York. Not ready for the master's program I'd deferred. Not ready to live the life I actually wanted. I'd stayed in Austin because my dad lost his job. I'd bought this place with the $20,000 I'd saved for my future. And every month, I paid the mortgage, thinking it was temporary, thinking I was doing the right thing. But they'd been planning this the whole time. An hour later, the hallway went quiet. I peeled myself off the floor and made coffee, just to have something to do with my hands. That's when my phone buzzed. An email from First National Bank. Subject line: your HELOC application, appraisal confirmation. The mug slipped in my hand. I caught it just before it hit the counter. HELOC, home equity line of credit. A loan against my house. A loan I never applied for. I opened my credit monitoring app with shaking fingers. There it was. A hard inquiry from First National Bank. Dated 1 week ago. Right before the birthday dinner. They hadn't just claimed the condo was for Bryce. They'd already tried to use it. They'd used my social security number, my birth date, my personal information. My mother, the only person who would have all of that from when she helped me with college financial aid forms. The tears stopped. The shaking stopped. Something cold and sharp settled in my chest. This wasn't a family argument anymore. This was identity theft. This was fraud. This was a crime. I called the bank. Fraud department, this is Karen speaking. My voice came out flat, mechanical. My name is Emery Nash. I've just been notified of a HELOC application I did not make. I'm reporting this as identity theft. There was a pause. Then, gently, can you verify the last 4 digits of your social security number? I gave her everything she asked for. Security questions, mother's maiden name, first pet. All the same information my mother had used against me. And do you believe you know who may have applied using your information? I hesitated, just for a heartbeat. Yes, my mother, Patricia Nash. The words hung there. I'd done it. I'd reported my own mother to a federal bank for fraud. There was no going back. I understand, Miss Nash. This must be very difficult. Karen's voice softened. I flagged this application as fraudulent. The appraisal will be canceled immediately. Would you like me to place a freeze on your credit report as well? Yes, please. And will you be filing a police report? We recommend doing so in cases of identity theft, even when family is involved. I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. I'll consider it. When I hung up, I sat there for a long time, staring at the sunlight on my floor. My home was still mine. But I knew this was just the beginning. Sunday morning, the pounding came again. Louder this time. Desperate. Emery! My mother's voice wasn't smooth anymore. It was sharp, panicked. Emery, open this door right now! I cracked it open, chain still latched. She was alone this time, clutching a leather portfolio. Her hair was perfect, but her eyes were wild. The appraiser is coming tomorrow morning, she said, words rushing out. Bryce needs you to sign these papers right now. She didn't know. She didn't know I'd already canceled the appraisal. There is no appraisal, Mom, I said, calmer than I felt. I canceled it when I reported your fraud. The color drained from her face. You did what? The shriek that came out of her was something I'd never heard before. Raw, furious. Do you have any idea what you've done? You've destroyed everything. Mrs. Delgado's door cracked open down the hall. An elderly couple hurried past, eyes averted. Mrs. Delgado can hear you, I said quietly. I don't care who hears me. She slammed her palm against the doorframe. You're a woman, Emery. You'll get married and move away eventually. Stop being selfish and holding on to something your brother needs to build his career. I used to let words like that cut me, but something had shifted. You taught me that family only matters when they need something from you, I said. Lesson learned, Mom. Thanks. I closed the door. Her voice followed me back to the kitchen. But it felt distant now. Background noise. An hour later, Bryce posted on Facebook. Betrayed by my own flesh and blood. Some people would rather see their family fail than do the right thing. 6 likes. 3 sympathetic comments. I took a screenshot, saved it to a folder labeled Evidence. Then the reviews started. 1-star reviews on my business page. Unreliable designer, deceitful, mentally unstable. Different names, but the same phrases my mother always used. My phone rang. Aunt Marlene, my father's sister. The only one who'd ever stood up to my mother at family gatherings. Emery, I just saw Bryce's Facebook post. What on earth is going on? I told her everything. The dinner, the door, the loan, the reviews attacking my business. Those absolute vultures, she hissed. Honey, this isn't a family squabble anymore. This is criminal. I know. Send me everything, every last bit. Your mother has always been, well, I won't say it. But using your social security number? That's not a family issue, Emery. That's a felony. I compiled it all. The mortgage statements, the loan notification, the screenshots, the video. I sent it to Marlene and felt like I was building a fortress around myself. Brick by brick. My upstairs neighbor Ethan texted me. Your mom was back this morning. Just FYI, my security camera caught the audio from the hallway. Can you save that footage? I asked. Already done. Another ally, another brick in the wall. But then I lost a client. The Hendersons, who needed help with their guest room. We heard you might be having some personal issues, Mrs. Henderson said awkwardly. We think we should go in another direction. The reviews were working. For the first time since Saturday, I let myself cry again. 5 minutes. That's all I allowed. Then my phone buzzed. A text from my father. The first contact since he'd stood silently by the elevator while my mother and brother attacked my door. Family meeting, my house, tonight. Attendance mandatory. Not we need to talk. Attendance mandatory. Like I was being summoned. I didn't respond. I grabbed my keys and drove to Office Depot. If they wanted a meeting, I'd give them one. But on my terms. The clerk at the counter slid 3 black binders across to me. You want these spiral bound or 3-ring? 3-ring, I said. I need to be able to add pages if necessary. I drove to my parents' house as the sun dipped low. The binders sat on the passenger seat like silent witnesses. 2 pounds, 4 ounces each. 2 pounds, 4 ounces of truth. The house looked smaller than it used to, less imposing. I didn't knock. I still had a key. They were seated around the dining room table when I walked in. My father at the head, reading glasses on, hands folded like a judge. My mother to his right, posture perfect. Butter yellow cardigan buttoned to her throat. Bryce slouched to the left, eyes darting between his phone and my face. You're late, my mother said. I checked my watch. I'm actually 3 minutes early. We expected you to be at least 10 minutes early. That's how a respectful daughter behaves. I said nothing, just closed the door behind me. My father cleared his throat. Emery, this has gone too far. You're embarrassing this family. You canceled the loan. You upset your mother. He tapped a stack of papers at his elbow. We are here to fix this. You will sign these papers, and we will forget this whole thing. The old me would have signed anything to make the tension go away. But the old me died when she changed the door code. I walked to the table, placed a binder in front of each of them. Black, professional, identical except for the names printed on the spines. "What is this?" my father asked, annoyed. "It's my answer." My mother flipped hers open first. Her eyes fell on the HELOC email at the top, the bank's letterhead crisp and damning. Her face flushed red, then went white. She snapped it shut. "You wouldn't dare," she hissed. Bryce opened his more cautiously. He found the section tabbed with his name. Printouts of his Facebook post, the anonymous one-star reviews. Reviews that used phrases he always said, in the exact order he said them. He went pale. Only my father actually read. He started with the deed. Traced the signature. Mine, not his. He flipped through 8 years of mortgage statements, each one in my handwriting. Future fund payment. Then he turned to the credit report. The hard inquiry dated 1 week before his birthday dinner. "What is this?" he murmured. "That's evidence of identity theft," I said, voice steady. "Someone used my Social Security number to apply for a home equity line of credit on my property, without my knowledge or consent." My father looked up sharply. "But who would—" He stopped. His eyes slid to my mother. Understanding dawned across his face. "Patricia," he whispered, "you used her Social Security number." The room went still. My mother didn't apologize. She burst into tears, sharp, angry sobs. "He's your son!" she shrieked, pointing at Bryce. "We're going to lose everything." My father stared at her, mouth open. Bryce hunched lower, fascinated by the grain of the table. "That's not true," I said, looking at my father. "You're not going to lose anything, because you never put in a single dollar. I'm the one who lost. I lost my $20,000 future fund for New York. I lost my spot in the master's program. I lost 8 years of my life believing I wasn't good enough, all while I was paying your bills." My father flinched. "I'm not here to negotiate," I continued. "I'm here to inform you." Bryce shifted in his seat. I silenced him with a look. "The HELOC is dead. The bank has flagged your phone number. Aunt Marlene has a copy of this binder. So does my neighbor Ethan, who has video of you harassing me at my door. If one more one-star review appears, if any of you text me, email me, or come within 100 feet of my home, I'm filing a police report for identity theft and harassment." My mother's mascara ran in black streaks. My brother gripped the edge of the table, knuckles white. My father just looked lost. "We're done," I said. I walked to the door, my back straight, my steps unhurried. Behind me, I heard my mother's voice. "Douglas, tell her. Tell her she has to." My father said nothing. The door closed behind me with a soft click, gentler than I'd imagined. Outside, the air smelled like cut grass and rain. I breathed it in deeply, and for the first time in 8 years, the tightness in my chest began to ease. I didn't look back. 3 months later, I sat at my desk, staring at my Google business page. The number glared back at me. 1.5 stars. A perfect nosedive from 4.9. Unreliable, unprofessional, mentally unstable, canceled at the last minute. Every comment echoed my mother's voice. Bryce's spite. Fake names, coordinated, deliberate. I'd fought them. I sent Google and Yelp copies of the bank report, the video, screenshots of Bryce's texts. All I got back was an automated email. "We have reviewed your complaint. and found these reviews do not violate our community policy. My phone rang. Martin Lowell, Austin Modern, my biggest client. My heart sank. Emery, hi. Martin Lowell. Listen, I'll be direct. We're going to have to pause the design contract for the South Congress project. I closed my eyes. I understand. He sighed. It's not me, Emery. Your work is excellent. But the board, they saw the reviews. They see words like unstable, and they think lawsuit. Our investors are nervous. I understand, I said again. That was the third contract canceled that month, the one keeping my lights on. I closed my laptop, walked to the window. The Austin skyline glittered in front of me. I'd given up New York for this view. I'd fought my own family to keep it. And now I had it. But I was losing the career that paid for it. A tear slid down my cheek, not sadness, anger, raw, burning injustice. I wiped it away, hard. No, I said out loud. She doesn't win. He doesn't win. I looked at my hands, the hands that had sketched hundreds of designs, chosen every fabric, every tile. They were still here. They were still capable. I'd built this business from scratch with nothing but talent, $20,000, and blind determination. I'd lost my reputation. But the talent was still here. I could rebuild it, one client at a time, if I had to. I opened my laptop again, ignored the business page, opened my design software instead. The project file I'd been working on for weeks. My submission for the city's Young Entrepreneur Program. The reviews could hurt me, but they couldn't stop my work. At least this time, I was standing on ground that was truly mine. 5 months later, sunshine streamed through my freshly washed windows. Potted herbs lined the kitchen sill, basil, mint, rosemary. The snake plant beside my drafting table had sprouted 3 new shoots since January. Green things growing, small promises kept. My phone pinged. An email from the City of Austin's Young Entrepreneur Program. Congratulations, Miss Nash. We are pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. I read it twice, then a third time. My hands trembled slightly as I scrolled down. An invitation to speak at their spring conference, a SXSW Small Business Track panel. The road back hadn't been quick. After the 3-month smear campaign, I lost nearly half my clients. But I refused to lie down. I told every potential client the truth. My business is under a personal smear campaign. Please judge me on my work. Some walked away. The ones who stayed saw my portfolio and decided it spoke louder than anonymous internet vitriol. Later that week, I stood at the edge of the conference stage, heart hammering. But it was clean fear, anticipation, not the dirty panic of those Saturday mornings. Please welcome Austin-based interior designer and entrepreneur Emery Nash. I stepped into the spotlight. The microphone felt solid in my hand. I began to speak. The woman at that podium bore no resemblance to the silent girl who'd sat at birthday dinners, forks suspended, while everyone laughed at her expense. When I finished, the applause washed over me, warm, validating. I stepped down from the platform, scrolling through my notes. That's when I spotted them. 2 familiar figures near the exit. My parents looked smaller somehow. Dad's shoulders sloped beneath his sport coat. Mom's hair was different, less severe. They approached hesitantly. "You did good, kid," my father said quietly. The nickname from childhood landed awkwardly between us. My mother's eyes searched mine. really searched. Can we start over? Something shifted inside me. Not forgiveness exactly, but maybe the soil where it might eventually grow. Maybe, I said, my voice steady. When starting over isn't just about you losing control of me. I smiled politely, turned, and walked away to join the group of peers waving me over. Behind me, my parents stood alone. Freedom isn't when they stop pulling you down. It's when you stop letting them. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.